It's Car Con Carne. Let's eat in the car. It's Car Con Carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
This right here is Car Con Carne. It's a Q101 podcast. And Car Con Carne is sponsored by Easy Automation, easy-automation.net. It's time to just turn that home of yours into a smart home. Get it connected. Get it wired. Transform your living space with cutting-edge home automation. Experience seamless control over audio, video, lighting, climate, security, and more. Embrace the future of smart living. It's your home, your rules. Get a quote by visiting easy-automation.net or give my friend Dan a call. Call him directly, 630-730-3728. That phone number also on the screen if you're watching on video. It's also in the copy that is associated with this episode. So, this episode, you might say that 70s Chicago prog rock band McLuhan is obscure. You might be right. Their one and only album, Anomaly, has just been reissued, pressed, and re-released. And you can see McLuhan in the present day at Montrose Saloon on March 6th. Montrose Saloon is where I am tonight, just hours before McLuhan takes the stage to kick off the new year. And I'm joined, if you're watching on video, even if you're listening, it's also true, I'm joined on my right by band leader Neal Rosner, bassist, vocalist. Lovely to see you.
Good to see you, too. It's good to be here.
We are right outside Montrose Saloon, and we're going to talk about how a relatively unknown prog band from over 50 years ago ends up back on the circuit. It seems improbable.
It is improbable, but it happened. We were all of us students at U of I Circle Campus, and the band got together, and we were. My next door neighbor was Paul Cohen, and we lived in Rogers Park. And Paul.
So were you redlining to school every day?
Well, or else Paul would drive me sometimes.
Okay.
And we would, Paul was in a show band called the Seven Seas, and they got tired of doing show music. They wanted to do original music. They were all musicians, all in music at U of I, and Paul asked me if I wanted to play bass with him, and I said, "Okay, sure." I didn't know how to play bass, but I faked it pretty well at that time, and
that's the secret to show business, really.
Yeah. But we started playing original music, and the genius behind the three of the four McLuhan songs was a guy named Dave Wright. He was a trumpet player, and he arranged and wrote three of the four songs on the album. And we started doing the original songs and cover songs too, and we played at Wise Fool's Pub on Monday night. And some people.
For context, I've heard of Wise Fools.
It was 2270 North Lincoln.
You remember the address?
Yes, and we had Monday nights, and we'd play there till 1:00 in the morning or so, and then get up at 6:00 in the morning to go back to school, and but it was fun. But Carl Davis and Brunswick Records came to see us and signed
Brunswick
us.
Records, which was an R&B label.
That's correct. They're an R&B label. They wanted us to be their crossover white band, like we're Earth, but we weren't. We were more original. We were a prog rock band.
Had they heard you? I mean, when I think crossover, I think pop hits.
Yes, but we were not.
Right, like you said, there were 4 songs on this album.
But they're 4 long songs.
I love this. And look at this. This is the reissue, which you kindly signed if you're looking at that on video.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Gatefold. I'm a nerd for this stuff. I'm sorry. Oh, look at that. I mean,
it's a nicely produced album. The engineer was Bruce Swedien. Bruce Swedien was a giant in recording. He actually went on later to be the recording engineer for Thriller, for Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Oh my gosh!
And so we were very fortunate to hook up with him. So he made the album. Didn't really go anywhere at that time. And then we got older and got married, got divorced, had kids, and the band broke up.
All that life stuff got...
Yes, life stuff got. And but then in 2017, I was actually living in Kentucky at that time, but I still talked to Paul and a couple other guys from the band, and we got together again and started practicing. And then we had our first...
Was it just for fun, or were you thinking, let's give this a shot? Do we still have it?
Well, it is still fun. It is totally fun. It's not like I'm making a bunch of money on this at all. Besides, I'm a retired guy anyway, so this is fine for me. But yeah, it's for the fun of it and the love of it. And We,
so it's not
we-
about
we-
like reclaiming your legacy or anything like that. It's just
No, not with
you're with your old buddies and you made fun music together. And
Yes, and but we did believe in what we did, and we started seeing bootleg versions of the album on YouTube,
because people get frustrated if they can't get that stuff.
Incoming call.
Ignore that.
Press the pickup button to answer.
That is Herb from Liars Club. Talk to you later, Herb.
Okay, and so we got together, we started rehearsing, playing out again, and our first major gig was at the Hideout back in 2018, I believe, and we got together with 4 of the original 6 members and then 2 other members, and now we have 3 of the 6 original members.
Which 50 years later feels pretty impressive.
It is. Our keyboard player is original. Paul Cohn, our woodwind player, is original, and me, I am original. And then we have some new people. We have a new drummer, Luke Meyer, who is a very, very good drummer, and we have Mitch Marcus, excellent guitarist, and we have young Bart Coyle. The age range of the group ranges from 74 to 29. Bart is 29 years old. We got some monsters in the group, I think. Paul and Bart and Mitch and Luke are all really exceptional musicians. And it gives me great pleasure to play. Not just playing our own stuff, but just playing. I'm an old guy, okay? So this is our antidepressive therapy, It really is.
I get it. But let's be honest, age is less and less relevant in rock and roll as the years go on. Like 70 in the year 2025 is very different from being 70 and playing rock and roll in 1985.
Sure. And I'd say yes, it's rock and roll, but it's music. I think for me it's just music. I like all kinds of music, except for I'm not crazy about rap or hip hop, but I like most of other music. And we have a lot of jazz influences
Sure.
in our stuff.
Well, let's talk about that, because you mentioned the word monster, which led me right to the Monster Bride, 25% of this album. Takes an early turn toward the Carnival Fairway, then goes right into a full-blown jazz freakout.
Yes, it does. And there's Paul on there, and then there's also some spoken words in the
like dramatic spoken word,
right?
Like ominous spoken
now,
word.
in this incarnation of McLuhan, my wife Barb does a spoken word. She's also doing backup singing for us.
Is she scary?
She can be scary. She's an excellent actress, and she did a lot of community theater and tried to be a professional actress when she was younger in New York. She's very, very dramatic, and so it's a lot of fun.
I love it. And that song in particular, it's vulgar, it's nuts. It feels like the sound of a group of people who just said, what if, when they got into the studio.
That's exactly it. Dave Wright wrote most of the music, but there was a lot of individual improvisation in the arrangements. So we all contributed. And so it's a pleasure to do this. We just love it. We play out right now, maybe once a month. And we've been playing here at Montrose Saloon several times. We were doing a sort of residency on Thursday nights here. We'll be here tonight, and then March 6th, and then April 3rd. And we'll also be playing at Copper Fiddle in Lake Zurich on April 26th. And then we'll be playing, then after that, who knows, we'll be playing other places too.
And you can get the remastered, re-released, re-everythinged album at your shows?
Yes, you can. And we'll sell the album tonight for $20. Okay.
For a gatefold brand new record, that is a steal.
It is.
You're certainly old enough to remember buying records in the record store. It is shocking how much it costs to keep up a record habit in the modern day.
Oh, sure. And vinyl is coming back. So it's
it's back.
That's a very
It's
good
arrived.
thing. We were fortunate. We met at Montrose Saloon. We met Andrew Clark, who is a sound guy, and he's also a musician in a band called 321s and several other bands. And he turned me on to his dad, Ellis Clark.
Sure.
And Ellis Clark is also a musician. He's been in lots of bands.
Very
He's a
accomplished
jobber.
guy, yeah.
And he's got a studio. And Andrew said, why don't you try to reissue the album? So he said, well, I don't know how we can do that. But Ellis was very skillful. He was able to find a submaster of the album and a very good quality submaster. And he
Was this song
remastered
that was
it.
just sitting in a canister of quarter-inch tape somewhere?
I don't know where he got it, but he got it. You know?
Okay.
And it was really good quality, and so we did it, and then here we are.
Spiders in Neal's basement. What was going on there?
My name is Neal, and we had a basement, and that's where we practiced most of the time. And there was
So
a lot of
very
spiders.
literal.
Yes, it was just a goofy title. But now the content of that was not written by Dave Wright. That was written by a fellow named Marv Croat, who's unfortunately no longer with us. But it's an interesting combination song. It's a combination of calypso, Dixieland, and maybe some klezmer. Klezmer music, which is like clarinets and stuff.
Interestingly, as you say that, it's somehow the most conventional sounding song on the album, but based on your description, you'd never guess.
No.
Or maybe that says a lot about the other three.
Yeah, and but there you can tell from that this is you probably can tell that this one is written by somebody else than Dave Wright. There's a different signature on it, I think.
And you can tell how much the horns matter on that one.
Oh yeah, we are a horn band, and we are fortunate to have. We don't have like 3 or 4 horns. We have two horns. We have a Paul Cohn, who's a master woodwind artist. He's proficient on saxophone, flute, and clarinet, and we use them all when we play. And then we got Bart, who's just a young master. He's a terrific instrumentalist, great improvisations. So it's it's a joy. The thing that I like the most about when we're playing, in addition to being an antidepressant, when things are cooking and I'm playing, I am the music. Okay, I am the music, and that's it's coming from
You just
me.
kind of lose yourself in it.
And it feels just so good. It's like coming from us, and it's still a wonderful feeling. It's a good psychedelic.
I dug my hooks into the Chicago music scene probably early 90s. I'm very familiar with what it was like for bands then through now to kind of make their way through. What was the scene like back then in playing Wise Fools? Was there a scene?
There was a scene. There's a big music scene. Lincoln Avenue was crazy. We had the Monday night spot, which is kind of the not the best spot. Other bands like I think Wilderness Road had the Thursday night spot, and that was a good.
That's the night people go out.
They were very very popular. But we're happy to get it, and we played other gigs too. But it was very exciting to. And then we had some press. We had articles written in the local newspapers, and we started playing a fair amount. Didn't make any money, but we played, and that's what it's not about. I'm a retired physician. Okay, so I did my job and my for my income, and this is just a pleasure for me. It just feels good, and I also do my own music too. Okay, the band plays several of my original songs too, and you can see my songs Neal Rosner on YouTube or Spotify, the Apple Music and stuff like that. But McLuhan and my own music. That's my legacy. That's what I like to do. I suppose ego is involved, but it's like saying, "I'm here." When I listen to an artist, okay, like a great artist like Gershwin or something like that, I'm in the guy's brain. Okay, when I'm listening to it, that's how I feel. That's how I feel
listening
about
to music is a very one-on-one experience. I completely agree.
Yeah. So that's a lovely thing. So I'm happy to do this. We'll keep on doing it as long as we can do it. We're happy to do it. I live right now in Highland Park. We may be moving back to Chicago, though, in the near future. My wife is getting tired of being out in the suburbs. So, but I'm from here. I grew up in Rogers Park. So I'm just happy to be doing what we're doing.
I think you said something really important that I certainly relate to. Yeah, the day job as the physician, I think everyone needs a creative outlet. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have my day job. It keeps me busy 10 hours a day, but this is how I express myself. This is my creative outlet. You need those.
No doubt. There's no doubt about that. It's my alternate identity, and I really like it a lot.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So again, this album, Anomaly, which, I mean, as album names go, pretty apropos. There's nothing like this. If you compare it to a stack of records from other artists, this is anomalous.
Well, our David Wright was very influenced by Marshall McLuhan, the philosopher, the Canadian philosopher. And
the medium
guy's
is the
going-
message. Art is anything you can get away with.
The medium as a message was philosophy in the books of Marshall McLuhan. One of our songs, Brief Message from Local Media, really illustrates his philosophy the best. It's a suite in 4 different parts. McLuhan is talking about the influence of the media on civilization. And in the first part of Brief Message from Local Media, the first part is called the Garden, which is the innocence. The second part is the assembly line. The third part is Electric Man, which is television, radio, social media. And then the fourth part is like a little calliope kind of thing, very simple, and that's kind of a hopeful future. Okay, so that's one of the things that's most like Marshall McLuhan in our repertoire.
Which, as far as album or track sequencing goes, ending on a hopeful note, last song on the album, makes perfect sense. A nice way to wrap things up. So the album's super cool, and odds are with it. A lot of people have not heard this. Great time to dig into this, and if they like what they hear, they can come back to where we are right now, Montrose Saloon, Thursday night, March 6th. The weather will be even better then, knock wood.
And you can also go to local independent record stores. We're selling.
Yeah, because it's all over the north side.
Yeah,
that's great. But I mean, it'd be better if they came to see you.
absolutely.
They could talk to you about like doctor stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm retired now. I did that long enough, so this is fine.
Yeah, you don't want strangers coming to Montrose Saloon saying, "Does this look infected?" Perhaps not. All right, you've got a show to play, sir. Thank you so much for doing this. I love that McLuhan is here 50 years later. Sometimes you just need to go away to really be appreciated and come back.
Well, it's nice to have a chance to come back.